All right, on the bench today is a FG501 function generator. This is one of the TM500 plugins, and it does different types of functions like sine waves, square waves, and stuff. We'll look at that. I'm not quite sure what the whole range of frequency is, but we could test that. There's a VCF input, voltage controlled frequency, I guess, input, so you can modulate it. There's a gate, some type of phasing with the gate. Trigger output with a really weird connector. Never seen that before. And then a gear reduction on the frequency set. So we'll put it around here. We'll put it around 5, and it has a Cal sticker on it. It said 1998 it's due, so probably out of Cal. Although I don't know how stable these things are. It might need some adjusting. It might not need some adjusting. I think this is quite a lengthy procedure to adjust this thing. Tektronix seems to be very popular with potentiometers back in the day. I don't know what vintage this is, but yeah, let's take a look at the output here. There's a little bit of shine on the screen, but I get the idea. It's a sine wave. If I click this little, so this is frequency adjust. This is what type of waveform right here. So let's take a look. Triangle wave, square wave, ramp, other ramp, pulse negative, pulse positive. So that's what you get out of here. We can go back to here, and we are measuring 5.06. It's wandering around a bit. It's not very stable. 5.06 megahertz, and I can adjust the oh dear. So I don't know if that's a potentiometer that we're adjusting, but something seems to be dirty. It goes all the way around. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know about that. It went all the way around through. Wow, I've never seen anything like that before. How does that happen? You get here up to here to 10 megahertz, and then bang, you're at 1 megahertz. Well, that's pretty weird. Let me show you that. Yeah, we're here at 10, and you just keep it turning, you get to 1. Here's 1. Wow, that's pretty weird. We'll have to look inside to see what kind of adjustment thing this is. It keeps going round and round and round, which would make me think it's a capacitor that just goes all the way through. So yeah, it might just be a capacitor. Interesting. Okay, and there is a multiplier here, so we can get different speeds out of it. Multiplier goes up to 10 to the 5th. Times 10, so that'd be 10 to the 6th. And let's go over here to the oscilloscope and measure its frequency. It is 1 megahertz. So it goes up to 1 megahertz. And it goes down really low. Okay. 1 megahertz. It's got some interesting voltage adjustments. So you can adjust the a lot of dirty pots in this thing. You can adjust the magnitude, and then I think if you pull this knob, yeah, you can adjust. Oh geez, you can adjust the offset. So it's got, definitely needs to have some contact cleaner put in it though. There's an offset adjustment. All right. Well, what else do I know? Yeah, we can make this thing really slow. Let's see if we can. How slow we can make it here. This is 100 hertz. Here is 10 hertz. Here is slow, 1 hertz. And then there's 2 more clicks after that. So yeah, I can go really slow. Okay. And the output is obviously, let's see how good the output is. I'm looking at yes, it's falling there. It's big here, and then we come up to the highest range. It falls down a bit, so it's not leveled at the high frequency. Otherwise, seems pretty nice, pretty functional. I don't see any adjustment for the pulse width. I think it's just positive pulses or negative pulses, but you cannot adjust the pulse width. But I haven't read the manual yet, so we'll go from there. I think what we should do is take a peek inside. And especially for that weird capacitor action there, see what's going on in there. Okay, yeah, here's the cal sticker. It was caled by Statbro Laboratories in Salt Lake City, or in Kansas. It's got two addresses, either Salt Lake or Kansas, so I'm not sure where this one was. Tektronix, Beaverton, Oregon. Let's take the, oh, there we go. And, oh wow. Well, that's underwhelming. Let's see if I can zoom in here. The 10 turn type of thingy here goes into this tiny little part. So it's just a little resistor that just goes around and around and around. Yeah, very interesting. And just kind of wiggling in there in the breeze with its leads. There's no mechanical support for it. That's, Dave would say, that's a bit how you doing. All right. Yeah, interesting. We've got this weird thing here, which is this knob, which, oh, this is the function. So this is, again, is one of those weird switches that Tektronix is so enamored with. Yeah, it's got a, I can see it in there, it's got a wheel with cams and got that thing going on. Sprague capacitors, Sprague or Sprague, however you want to say it. Tested by, just some initials. Let's see, can we see any date codes? 1980, 1978. What's that down there? 741. No date code. Looks pretty simplistic. It says 1972 on the printed circuit board, but I believe this was built in 1980. A couple more 741s. Other broken plastic pieces off of. Maybe I can glue that on. Anyway, these things are always breaking. They're always breaking. Not crazy about Tektronix mechanical designers. Okay. Well, how many adjustments do we have here? No, not too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, a few. Yeah, maybe we should go through this. I think the bottom side is just the bottom side. Well, there's some stuff in there. Take a look at the bottom side there. Yeah, Tektronix had these real expensive capacitors to do timing and stuff. This one is a 10.0. Here's one I pulled out of a different instrument. This one's 10.1. And they're like solid, some type of solid material. They probably never go bad. Ooh, that looks bad there. Wow, is that factory? Wow, what the heck is that? That's just a power. A power, oh, you got to see this. If that's factory, I mean, that's just a joke. Ah, this is just terrible. No insulation. Everything's just kind of floating up there. There's these weird diodes that are all kind of crunchy in there. And, oh man, that looks bad. That looks bad. There's a bunch of bodged diodes on the back. They must have had some problems because there's 1, 2, 3 diodes here. There's a diode here, and there's a diode here, and obviously they were not. Diode down here too. They were not in the original design. Here's a bodge capacitor. This looks like a bodge wire here. I don't know. Bad soldering. It looks like the PC board got hot over here. What's under there? Just some, I don't know, just some normal stuff, but it looks like it got hot there. What is this big thing? Is that a heat sink of some weird kind? I don't know what that is. Yeah, I'm not impressed. Sorry, Tektronix. I'm not impressed. There's some weird heat sinks on transistors. Yeah. Pretty weird stuff. Pretty weird stuff. Alright, I guess we should calibrate it since I got it open. I'll have to get out the manual and see what's involved in caling this thing. Some of the transistors are on sockets and some of them are soldered, so go figure. And that was an expensive thing to do, put sockets everywhere, so maybe they've decided to save some money. If it's not, probably not going to blow up, we'll go ahead and solder it down. I don't know. Ooh, that doesn't look good there either. So, down over here, a part was put in, and the legs weren't ever snipped up, cut off, so they're about a 1 centimeter long things there, and the soldering doesn't look, it looks weird. It looks like the board was wave soldered, but there's all kinds of flux over here. It looks like it was all reworked. So I don't know if this thing was gone bad at one point in time, or they just decided to retouch everything, and it doesn't look like parts have wetted very good either. Goodness. Goodness. I don't know. Doesn't look good. I would not be happy if I bought this thing and this is the way it came out new.